Right, so sorry, this is a bit of a start. Right, so we made a video watching the new Justice League trailer, and Zack Snyder came out and said he's not going to use a single shot that Joss Whedon shot. And we said straight away that's going to be really hard, especially considering some of the money that he's spending isn't going to reshoots.
Yeah.
Now it turns out Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and Ben Affleck are all returning for reshoots.
Yeah.
Do we think that this is basically Zack Snyder going, okay, we've seen how bad the movie was going to be. If I'd continued, I'm going to completely change it now.
The thing is, though, wasn't he done with the movie?
That's what he supposedly said, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he finished it like mid this year. I'm pretty sure I saw things in that he'd finished and that it was going to, wasn't it? It was going to be released early, but then they had to push it back for COVID.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's weird. I just think it's weird that he said one thing, and now he's doing another thing.
I feel like it's kind of like a.
He said he wasn't doing reshoots.
Yeah.
And now he's doing reshoots.
I just don't understand. I feel like it's that typical. He said something and now he has to back it up, because I feel like a lot of people, from what it looks like, a lot of people on Twitter were also confused at how he could achieve that when he didn't really work on the movie up to.
He only seemed to work on it for about half the production time, and then Joss Whedon took over.
How could he have a full movie's worth of shots to a point where he could? He
didn't need Joss Whedon's.
Yeah, but by the looks of it, we talked about this in the trailer. There were some shots that I thought that bit where you see Steppenwolf coming out with in the mascara in the room with the box, and he comes out the port and he kind of looks. It literally is the same scene, but they
just
put
edit
armor
it
over
differently. Yeah, it's weird. It is weird, and then again, I think it's basically him going, we've seen how poor the movie was. Well, not how poor it was, how average it was when it came out, because it wasn't that bad. Batman was terrible. We all agree on that.
And it wasn't that good either. But
but it just seems like he's sort of gone, okay, I've seen what I've got. I've promised that it's not going to be as bad as the Justice League. And then he's going, okay, so what I've actually got isn't all that impressive, and it's not that much different to the Justice League.
Yeah.
Now I need to do reshoots and change the story quite a bit. Because you've got to remember, this is four 1 hour sections that it's going to be split into, which is a 4 hour film, which is basically, if he was planning on making his version of the Justice League a 4 hour film when he first started making it, that is insane. Because I wouldn't have gone to see a 4 hour version of the Justice League after four movies.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's weird that
you don't really want to watch a 4 hour movie altogether, do you?
Unless it's Avengers Endgame or The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King.
The difference with Endgame though was that it was like 10 plus movies in. 18 and it was like a massive build up, and
The Lord of the Rings is the greatest trilogy of all time. Just squeeze that in there.
Whereas with this, like you say, they didn't. This, by the time the first Joss Whedon's Justice League came out, we hadn't had the Aquaman movie.
Shazam movie, we didn't have that.
We hadn't had any of that. There was
only Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we didn't have a Batman or anything.
And we had Suicide Squad. Sorry, Suicide Squad came out as well.
I thought you agreed never to talk about that.
Yeah, but it's obviously that's the advantage, and people need to remember that when they see this film. That's the advantage that Zack Snyder's got compared to Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon was told to make something out of what Zack Snyder had made to appease a family audience. He was told to appease a family audience, so it was very Disney. That's why Batman was the comic relief. It was a Disney-style Justice League movie, which doesn't work at all. Doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen. And he didn't have Wonder Woman. He didn't have, Aquaman. He didn't have those movies. Whereas now, Zack Snyder has all that. He's seen the dump that Joss Whedon did, made out of the stuff that he had, and he's obviously not tailoring this movie to a family audience.
Well, I mean, it's Zack Snyder, isn't it? So it'd be hard for him to do it. Yeah. From the trailer, it looks like it's going to be so much darker. It's, literally, and,
It's all shot with a Zack Snyder filter.
Yeah, like Superman's got his, all black suit. These are the blue and red, so...
Yeah, it's just... When I was told that it was a 4-section, 1 hour long piece, I was like, surely the man couldn't have recorded 4 hours worth.
He couldn't have... No, not even... I mean, like you say, I don't even think it was halfway through before he was taken off. It was literally like a month or so in, wasn't it?
Mm.
It wasn't that... One minute he was doing it, the next minute he wasn't. So...
And it wasn't his fault, obviously. He had family issues, didn't he? So...
And plus you have to take into consideration as well, like, it's not like they were just shooting a scene a day. It's like...
A month's worth of work is a lot of time. Even like, you know, for a superhero movie, which obviously requires a lot of special effects, a month is still a lot of time.
It's still a lot of time, but for a 4-hour movie... Like, going back to Endgame, that was a 3-hour movie and it took them 6 months to film. Obviously in there you had the...
And they also filmed Infinity War at the same time.
And Endgame. So what's that, like 3 months, if that, to film? I think it's weird. And the thing that everyone's got to remember is, right, because I've seen a lot of hate going towards Joss Whedon since the Snyder Cut was announced. People say that Joss Whedon was to blame for Batman being a comedian. No, he's not. If you watch Batman vs Superman, he has the Martha Gates scandal and becomes a comedian after that. Yeah. The thing is, I feel like Joss Whedon was kind of...
Josh. He's far too cool to have a name like Josh.
I don't know why I said Josh.
Joshua.
The thing is that I think people forget is, fair enough, he's a director, but he's not the be all end all. The producers, especially with DC movies, have a lot more say than people think.
Warner Brothers in general.
They constantly putting their like tell them exactly what they want, and a lot of the times it's basically just, here's how the movie starts, here's how it ends, go. But
that's a fair point. Actually, it's another advantage that Zack Snyder has that Joss Whedon didn't, is that when Joss Whedon was making the Justice League, they were still in that mindset of the producers need to have everything. They need to control everything.
Yeah.
Whereas now we're starting to see, like, they seem like they're going, okay, we're just going to step back, we're going to get a good director in, let him make a movie. Like, they'll just let... Is it Patty Jenkins? Is that what she's called? The Wonder Woman director? And they basically just went to just make the movie. And obviously you see straight away, your first example, you've got a bloody good Wonder Woman movie.
I think though as well, like you said, he was basically just picking off where Zack Snyder left off, and he had to try and piece together a movie that made sense with, you know, the likes of Batman vs Superman,
which it didn't.
That fit in with the movies we'd had, what little movies we had, but also could further the story. But I mean, he didn't really have the materials to do it, because he didn't know what the Aquaman movie was going to be, because it wasn't made at that point. He didn't know, I mean, Wonder Woman 2, hadn't been made yet, so he didn't know what that was going to be like. He couldn't do too much with her. Flash, again, hadn't been made, wasn't a Batman movie. Cyborg's first movie, again, he couldn't really do much character development because he didn't know where their stories were going to go later down.
Yeah. There was no long-term plan, was there?
No.
There was obviously not a long-term plan.
And obviously Warner Brothers, again, they're putting inputs, they want this character and this character in, and they want...
references to the Joker, they want to see this, they want to see that, Superman can't have a black suit. Which, if you're allowing Superman to be killed in the second movie, yes, he can have a black suit. Stop being silly, Warner Brothers. But because obviously we've talked a lot about this, another question is, why isn't there as very much hype around Wonder Woman 2? There doesn't seem to be any hype. The second trailer came out, but then there's been nothing. There's been nothing since that, and it comes out next month. Next month it comes out.
It's soon, isn't it?
And there's been next to no hype, especially
from Warner Brothers or just from people?
From anyone in general.
I don't know, and I feel like it looks really good. Obviously,
we
saw the trailer at the cinema when we were watching Tenet, and I mean, just the fact that Chris Pine's in it and is being Chris Pine is amazing.
And Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
It's just, I think the thing that people are a tiny bit concerned about is the fact that it's a prequel. It's another prequel. You know, it's set in the past, so we know. I'm guessing at some point Steve Trevor is going to have to essentially die again, because he's not in.
And by the sounds of it, Well, we're probably gonna...
And Pedro Pascal is probably going to die because he's not in.
Yeah, we're probably gonna talk about this, but I feel like... I don't know. I feel like there's so much hype around all the other stuff. The Batman teaser, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League, you know, even The Rock coming as Black Adam. Even that, it got a lot of hype, and I feel like I feel like it's sad, but Wonder Woman
lost
kind
in
of...
the shuffle.
Yeah. I feel like because there was already a good first Wonder Woman movie, people are like, oh, well, it's going to be a good movie.
And that's weird as well when you think about it, because if you look at the sort of success of previous movies in this sort of, in the DCEU, you've got like Zack Snyder, who's, you've essentially got, there's about 70% of the hype is on, well, sorry, let's say there's about 50% hype on the Batman. Everyone's excited about the Batman. Then you've got about maybe 40% that are excited about Snyder's cut, which you look at Zack Snyder's previous record, and I don't understand why there's that much hype behind it. But that's just me, and everyone knows how much I dislike.
Do you want to think it is? I feel like, to put it nicely, I feel like DC fans are finding it hard to justify the bad movies that came with, you know, Batman vs Superman, Justice League.
Yeah.
They can't just say, oh, well, you know,
it was a bad movie.
Yeah. It's like, because there's this alternative, because, like, I've never seen anyone talk about Batman vs Superman, ever. I don't see people talking about it. People kind of just go on as if it doesn't exist.
Forget it existed.
With Justice League, there's an alternative. There's Zack Snyder's cut, which, oh my god, it has to be better, because, you know, how could it be any worse than Joss Whedon's?
That's actually a really good point. I think before he got the Snyder cut, he should have went back and gone, right, okay, we didn't like Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
Make it better. If the producers damaged the movie as much as they say he did, give us one that doesn't have the... And then if that film was successful, then you go, okay, now you've earned your Snyder cut.
I just don't understand why Zack Snyder didn't just go, you know what, I'm just going to do my own universe. Because that's what people are starting to do. That's what, is it Matt Reeves? Matt Reeves is doing with Robert Pattinson.
Batman, yeah.
You know, there's obviously a Joaquin Phoenix Joker, which is going to be a second movie. That's its own universe now.
I hope there's another Joker.
Well, apparently there is. I've seen a few things, and there's going to be a second one. That Joaquin Phoenix would do a second one, so
yeah,
hopefully.
he said that he would do a second one.
So yeah, I don't understand why Zack Snyder just went, okay, I don't like anything
that Joss Whedon did.
Yeah, I'm going to just do my own universe.
Yeah. I'm
just going to do my own. It's going to be dark, it's going to be doom and gloom, but you know what, it's going to be mine, and
he'll have his fans.
Yeah.
And that's actually an interesting point, because obviously I'm going to watch the Snyder Cut, because it's a weird sort of moment in time that this has been allowed to happen.
It's not really happened before like this.
I know,
is it?
I can't think of anything where this is where
two directors have done the same movie, but in different versions.
But for me, if he was going to get this, I think they should, because there was a tweet someone said where they were like, okay, now we can talk about Justice League Part 2, and someone I don't know if it was the Warner Brothers or if it was Snyder himself tweeted back saying one thing at a time, and I was like, you should not even be remotely talking about his next project until we've seen this.
Justice League Part 2. I do not want to see a Justice League movie until a few years.
I know.
Give us Flash, give us another Aquaman, give us a Batman, for God's sake.
Create something that's
give us character development, Warner Brothers, please.
Because people will say there's character development in the Snyder Cut, and it's like, in 4 hours worth of movies, you could say that's 4 movies. And
I know. I'd like to think there'd be character development in it.
I know.
I'd like to think that Superman wouldn't just come back and go,
okay,
done.
Come back, single-handedly defeat everyone, and then go, we won.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
There has to be character development for a 4-hour-long movie, but
I think before people start talking about Justice League Part 2, especially a Snyder Cut, they should be going, right, okay, so he's made a Snyder Cut of Justice League, it's successful, we like it, whatever. They should then be going, okay, you said that Batman vs Superman had tons of producer influence and therefore it wasn't very good. Go back and make that how you wanted to make it, and then we'll talk about Justice League Part 2.
Yeah.
So, should we leave that there, because that's 15 minutes. I've still got 2 more videos to record. what do you think about the Snyder Cut? Obviously, this is the second video we've made on the Snyder Cut.
Maybe we're being too harsh.
I know.
It's not for being too harsh.
Thing
Maybe
is,
we're just not biased.
People should know by now that I am not a fan of Zack Snyder. I don't like his films. I think that I hate all doom and gloom films.
I haven't really seen any of his films, I don't think. So
300.
Oh yeah, then I have. Oh. Okay, yeah.
But and he did one called Watchmen, which was just all sad.
Yeah. I think we have to say though that we are going open-minded.
Yeah.
But we do have like concerns.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I'm still excited to see it because it's like we've already said, it's a moment in time that I don't think that's ever happened.
And I absolutely want it to be a good movie. Like, we don't want it to be a good movie. If it's not a good movie, then I feel like it would just be like, oh my god, like what was the point?
Yeah.
This whole, oh my god, Zack Snyder, come save us.
5 years build up.
To get a 4-hour-long movie, sat there for 4 hours, and if it's not a good movie, I think I would just walk out the cinema.
I know. It'll be interesting to see, and you'll have video proof that I said this. It'll be interesting to see if it really bombs bad. Obviously, it's going to get views. Everyone's excited about views.
Yeah, people are going to see
it. But if it gets reviewed terribly and fans hate it, it'll be interesting to see if Zack Snyder comes out and says, okay, I had my turn, it didn't work. Or if he comes out and says an excuse. He comes up with an excuse.
Oh, the producers tried to input again.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to try and fix Joss Whedon's, and so I couldn't really do what I wanted.
That'll be interesting to see. But again, we're still going to see it, and we will give you our reactions to it as well when it finally hits after COVID.
Yeah, 2021, isn't it?
So let us know down in the comments what you think. Are you a Zack Snyder fan? Are you excited? Are you worried? Are you concerned? What do you think the scenario should be? Should we start considering it part 2, or should he go back and fix Batman vs Superman?
Should he do his own universe?
Should he be allowed to have the likes of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker added to his? Absolutely not.
Leave Joaquin Phoenix out of this.
Yes, yeah.
He's too precious. Leave him alone. Let us do his own thing.
Yeah, but let us know down in the comments, and I'll see you soon. No, that's not my. Thank you for watching.
I need to know.